course and book and everything, is that pick your idea and make it work. I think that out of fear and anxiety and stress, what we do is we tend to start something and leave before it's successful because of fear.
I mean, I think when I started my official journey with the business, I was listening. I do audiobooks most of the time. I was listening to Think and Grow Rich every day, and I would spend a whole week on one chapter, listening to it over and over again, because it gives the behavioral change.
Yes. You know what I'm going to actually do somewhere along the line? I'm going to send the link. So Ryan, have you met Ryan? I think you have met Ryan. He did.
I met Ryan. I met him at one of the yoga sessions.
Yes, he did. So basically, he has done a course that he's put together that he's launching. I think it's in about 3 weeks' time. So the entire course is 13 lessons. 13 lessons. And it is based on the book, on Think and Grow Rich. And Ryan is such a brilliant presenter. So I'm so excited to do that. I'm going to share later on this button here.
And I mean, I want the next generation in my family to know that book before they go into the world.
Yeah. And isn't it over 100 years old, or about 100 years old, that book?
It's a very old book.
I've never read this book. I have to read it now.
Yeah.
Do the course. Hello, Sasha. How are you?
Well, thanks to you. Well, not well, but it's my last day of, Sunday will be my last day of isolation. It's been a bit of a tough week for us. Within the ANC, within my department, we have 4 COVID cases. My boss's wife passed away.
No, no, I'm so sorry.
That's so sad.
It's been a tough week. And because of the exposures, I've also had to just stay in. So I'm going to, I don't really have symptoms, but I have a bit of a tight chest. So, I could be asymptomatic. I was going to go for a test, but my husband's in the medical field, and he was like, well, what is the going for test? What are you going to do? Because there's still a few tests out there. You're not suffering in any sort of way, and you have the ability to isolate. So just do that for 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah. And you're going to have to do anyway with the test.
Oh, that's
just accepting that, and like, because he laughed at me because when I heard that my colleague who I'd been with had it, and it was obviously with my bosses, he lost his mother and his wife in a week.
I'm devastated to hear that news. I knew she was ill, but that is just so sad.
And,
I mean, it's starting to hit home quite a bit, And I mean, my aunt's first cousin just died, and they are in the Eastern Cape, and we were now speaking to my aunt saying, you cannot go to the funeral. And she's over 60 and has hypertension. And it took many of us to convince her that, you know what, the family will reconnect after all this is done. But we have a death. All we can do now is support each other from a distance.
It's very difficult, and in the workplace, because I also had an employee whose a family member passed away. They hadn't seen the family member, but last week they went to go visit his wife. And so obviously that becomes a problem in the workplace, which is just so difficult to monitor, isn't it?
And I mean, I think when this whole thing started, there's one thing we have to learn is social distancing, Yeah. Especially when you try and look at what happened with the Spanish flu. Our only defense is social distancing and a good immune system for a while.
Yeah.
And grandma's recipes also work, eh?
Yes, what have you used?
Please share, Sash.
Share, Sash.
I think each culture has a different one, but my mother swears by Jamaica ginger, which has a very good dose of alcohol in it too. But I haven't taken that yet, but I'm doing just taking 20 drops of echinacea 4 times a day. And so Lal's produced this product, and I know Life Retreat sells Lal products called Flusy Herb. And they really promote it on Classic FM because it has all the natural remedies in it, which helps loosen the chest and open up for better breathing. It has garlic extract in it and green tea and some other things, but the whole with a vitamin C and a zinc. So you're taking that twice a day. It really does make it. And actually, tea works. I don't know if it's psychological. I don't know what your feeling is about it, but everyone I speak to about tea, it really works.
No, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. The other thing that's really, really good is olive leaf capsules or drops. Olive leaf is such a good immune booster. And
it's in the Flusy Herb.
Sorry?
It's in the Flusy Herb as well.
Good.
Good. Flusy Herb. You must send us the name, Sasha.
We've actually had someone developing another immune booster vitamin, Sash, that has also got most of those, or actually all those things in, but has specifically kind of tried to make it towards, the coronavirus. Obviously, it's not a cure, but it can help us build our immunities immensely. And I've been taking that, and I feel touch wood. I feel 100%.
Well, you certainly look pretty good.
Oh, thank you.
Are we starting? Well, what are we on? Okay, 1 minute. Okay.
1 minute to go. Yeah, it's nice to see you. We missed you, Sash. Nice to see you again.
Last week was a week where I had to do some other work, so I took a bit of leave.
Okay. Is Sipo coming on today? The other Sipo?
I don't think he will because he's at the funeral. Not at the funeral, but we're digitally at the funeral. So somebody from our office has to represent.
That is so sad. This is where it is really hitting home, isn't it? It's so close. Sure.
Okay, Noabi, can you please unmute? Oh, there we go. You've unmuted your mic. So, welcome, ladies. I know we've been catching up and chatting about obviously everything that's happening around us. And Sasha, meet Asanda. Asanda, meet Sasha.
Hello, Sasha.
PBF. And Asanda is our success story today. And you'll also notice that we do have the same surnames. So yes, she is my big sister.
Ah,
okay. And then obviously you've met Noabi before, and Noabi is going to be taking us through obviously digital marketing as a strategy. And we've got 1 more minute to go, and we've got 12 participants online. I see there is a chat. Oh, that's you, Trish, that I've just looked at. Yes.
So I'd really like people to share what businesses they're in so that we can focus on them when we chat, later on today. It's better to focus on businesses that we know people are in. So please, if everybody can share, will be awesome.
Welcome, everyone. It's good to see everyone who's joining us today. We're looking forward to sharing with you just really some of the innovation that we've been focusing on in the past couple of weeks, with a focus on mindfulness, innovation, and resilience for businesses, especially during these challenging times that we are navigating, and they're not so new normal. And there we go. We've got a Pilates instructor looking to pivot to online courses. And there's a yoga teacher. You're in the right place. Trish and I are also yoga teachers. Great.
Awesome. Yes. Please your businesses. It's really nice to see what everybody's doing, especially with the media, with the marketing. It'll help if we know what business you're in to advise and answer.
I must say, I'm looking forward to the presentation because whenever I've been doing it, I've been winging it. So, so it will be good to hear some structure
and some
towards
strategy.
something I have self-taught myself.
Okay, so it is 12 o'clock, and I think for interest of time, I suggest we do start, and whoever joins will join us. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our hour of mindfulness, innovation, and resilience. My name is Siphokazi Kwakweni, and I am from the Lifelong Learning Academy. I almost said Life Retreat, but I am working with Life Retreat. I'm going to be a Masterclass facilitator for today. And as you can see, I am not alone. I am never alone. I have amazing speakers for us who will be sharing with us some innovation, some solutions for us to explore as we are navigating this new normal. And this is our 6th masterclass, especially for people who are joining us for the first time. It's our 6th one out of a series of 9. And we've covered quite a number of topics that really are aiming to really assist all of us with this new normal. And just to give you a bit of background, we've covered how to evolve your business perspective during and beyond COVID-19. And really that's been the theme. And we've been zooming into different concepts like mindfulness for business. We've been navigating and trying to define what this new normal is looking like. We've also looked at how we can balance lives and livelihoods. We've looked at HR solutions for this new normal. We've looked at different business rescue options for businesses in crisis. We've looked at the legalities that come with business rescue. We've also looked at how to digitize your business. And this week we are looking at digital marketing and sales, or digital sales and marketing as a strategy for your business. And we always end our session with a success story, with a good story for us to learn from. And we have been receiving a number of inquiries of whether are we going to continue beyond the 9 masterclasses, and that is definitely our intention to do that. And we'll be sharing more information with you as to how we can further deepen our relationship with our participants. We are offering customized masterclasses and sessions for businesses, and we'll share all this information with you at the end of our webinar. So now I'm going to take some time and allow our panelists to introduce themselves, and I'll hand over to you, Sasha.
Hi, thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, Sibu. So I am the convener of the Progressive Business Forum. For those of you who don't know what the Progressive Business Forum is, it's a program of the ANC, which is responsible for managing dialogues between business, ANC leaders, and of course, government. We deal with specific issues around policy development, and also ensuring that your voice can be heard through a formal and also a feedback system where you will get the feedback. We do a series of events, workshops, tours. At the moment, of course, those are on hold. And we've ourselves have had to pivot. I'm stealing a word from an attendee, but I really like that word. Pivot and change and become more digitally conscious. And we've partnered with Life Retreat here today, and we're looking at various practical ways that we can assist small businesses in finding solutions to, one, change their mindset, deal with stress and resilience, but also find ways that they can find new ways to engage in business, or the famous word, new normal. I'm going to make it one word now because everyone says it so often. But today I actually wanted to just speak for a minute on one thing, if that's okay, Sipho. And that was, you know, we're all talking about people here today who have businesses, who are trying to find ways to innovate. However, as an individual, what are you doing to help small businesses? I have this awkward pause in between for a reason. Because what I realized is that it's important for me in the space where I live, in the space where I work, where I would like my favorite restaurants, my community to thrive, my neighbors, the people I see and I walk around with the park that I don't really know, but I know they're there. But obviously where you live is where it starts. And there was a campaign a few years ago, had nothing to do with COVID, but it was around my hoods. You know, the idea that if you support enterprise within your own hood, you are strongly developing that area, and the money then is able to flow and circulate within your own area. So like a 5-kilometer radius is what's recommended. So what I did personally is I went onto my Facebook, and many of our areas since that My Hoods campaign has set up community groups. So I am in the Randburg-Linden area in Johannesburg, and I had a look at Linden and surrounds, Blair Gowrie, Delta Park, Parkhurst, Parkview, and I just joined all of those sort of community groups. And then on that, I posted a little note saying, support your local. And I put a broadcast call to all the businesses, small businesses that have something interesting or just selling something. Please advertise and just promote what you have to do. I'm going to try and spend most of my money, including buying fruits and veggies and everything I can, instead of going to a Woolies, which obviously there's a space to go to the big retailers, but to try as much as to move the support to support local and small businesses. And I tell you, the response I got was so fantastic, and the suppliers I found even better. And now I've built these, and this has just been in the last few weeks, I've built these amazing relationships with people that literally live down my road that I never knew. And you've built a strong community, you've built a spirit of Ubuntu, which everybody says the sense of social cohesion is, in South Africa has sort of fallen away. So that's an economic contribution you're making, it's a social contribution you're making, and you're doing good, and you can see that good that also affects you in a sense. So I encourage all of us here to try and find a way. I know that many of you here have businesses yourselves, but try and find a way to see how you can help. I know we're all struggling, but if you just moved even a small percentage of the money that you do spend and try and find a way to spend it locally, your impact will be immediate and very beneficial to your area. So that's all I have to say today. Thank you very much, people.
Thank you so much for that, Sasha. I think that is very, very important. And I think one of the things that hit me right at the beginning of this pandemic was, why are we importing a lot of things? You know, I mean, we've got so much talent within our country that we should actually be supporting and growing that talent. And obviously I speak because I do work a lot within the youth space, but I'll leave it at that. Trish, let me hand over to you for a little bit.
Thank you. Thank you. Sasha, that was awesome. Thanks for sharing. Is there any way that you could put some of that into writing for us? Because I would love to do that in my community. I think it's amazing. So if you could, that'll be really great. So I'm from Life Retreat. Our focus is on wellness in the workplace. And at the moment, we're just inspiring people to work together to help businesses grow. And I actually have been reinventing my own business because I've gone from brick and mortar that is completely closed to online. So it's not easy, but it is doable. And I've been inspired by the book Think and Grow Rich, and because a colleague of mine is actually launching a course, which I'm so excited to do. But the one thing that I have learned is becoming rich begins with your mindset. And to clarify, being rich is monetary wealth, but it also includes good relationships, fulfilling work, and good health, which we all need now. Napoleon Hill said that when you begin to think and grow rich, you will observe that riches begin with a state of mind, with a definite purpose and a little hard work and dedication. Getting rich begins with the right mindset, the right words, and the right plan. Success comes to those who become success conscious, and failure comes to those who are indifferent and allow themselves to become failure conscious. One of the main weaknesses of mankind is the average man's familiarity with the word impossible. The word impossible should be and should remain deleted from our dictionary forever. If refocusing is your priority, then I will gladly share some of these articles with you. There are tons of them. So you're welcome to put your email address or email us and we'll share. So that's my few words for today. And thank you for all joining us online. Once again, please share which businesses you're in so that we can focus on them. Thank you. And I'll hand back to Siphokazi.
Thank you very much, Trish. That was beautiful. And it actually ties in exactly with what I have planned for our mindfulness practice for this morning. And before I introduce our participants to our speakers, we normally start our session with a mindfulness practice. And I'm going to invite you all just to sit back. This is, after all, our hour of mindfulness, where we just really want to tune in and be fully present in this moment so that we are able to really take advantage of this opportunity. So just sitting back, you can close your eyes if you want to, or you can just simply rest your gaze and just come into this current moment. And we do that by tuning into your breath. Become aware of your breathing. I always say, greet your breath today. And just breathe gently, naturally, with pure awareness. And as you are aware, become fully aware of the flow of your breath through your nostrils right into your body. And feel the sensations that come with your breath within your body. And I'm going to read to you just really about today's practice. As you breathe in nice and slowly, stop for just a moment and breathe. Be conscious of the life force as it comes in and out of your body. At this moment, you are alive and everything is possible. The only thing that matters is your breath. Your internal narrators may speak up and try to tell you that you have more important things to do or think about, but ignore them. Have faith that all you need to do at this very moment is breathe. Close your eyes and listen to the breath without distractions. Let this remind you that all that matters is happening right now. Every time you inhale, imagine love going directly to your heart, then circulating throughout your body, cleansing every emotion and every concept in your mind. With each exhale, release any idea or belief that no longer serves you or your highest good. I'm going to invite you now to take a nice, slow, deep breath in, filling your body from the belly all the way up to your chest. And when you get to the top, just hold your breath just for a second and release your breath with a beautiful, audible sigh. And I'm going to invite you to do that 3 more times at your own pace, at your own time. Just breathing in deeply and releasing it with a beautiful, audible sigh. And I invite you throughout the day to come to a space where you hear your breath, where you listen to your breath. And when you're good and ready, you may come back into the space. You can open up your eyes. And I'm just going to take you through just a little short presentation around the importance of mindfulness and why we keep on emphasizing mindfulness within these webinars. I'm just waiting for my screen to share. There we go. So mindfulness is an aid to enhancing human potential by combining modern science with ancient wisdom. we've spoken a lot about stress in the past couple of weeks, and work-life stress, business stress, and just stress in general. So I'm not going to go deep into this, just for the interest of time. But the best place for us to deal with our stress, and this is something that Trish has also highlighted, is where we begin to improve our mind. So it's starting with the mind, and by asking, what is the quality of my mind? What is the quality of my mind at work? What is the quality of my mind in business? What is the quality of my mind in life? What is happening in my mind as the hours at work, in your business, or in life? Is your mind working at its utmost best? The one thing that mindfulness teaches us is the untold resources and abilities that our mind holds. Abilities and resources such as creativity, kindness, compassion, insight, and wisdom. The mind is a storehouse of tremendous energy and drive. And at the same time, it can also be an untamed animal that drags us down. And sometimes we just want to shut it off and get some work done, or just have a moment of peace. But one thing for sure is that our mind is not something that's easily shut off. So rather than trying to shut your mind off, maybe we should be asking ourselves, what else can we do with our mind? Mindfulness is there to help us to train our minds to work better by training them to pay attention moment by moment to where we are in this moment, what we are doing in this moment. Mindfulness also helps us to choose how we respond to life instead of react to life. It also helps us get out of autopilot, which also enables us to choose how we behave. And lastly, mindfulness can actually change or even transform how we work and how we do business, and ultimately how we do life. And that is my piece on mindfulness this morning, or this afternoon, sorry about that. And I'm going to introduce you to our very first speaker for today, Robbie Samayang from the African Institute of Entrepreneurship Development. And she's going to be talking to us about digital marketing as a strategy for your business. Robbie, I'm going to hand over to you. Oops, I've just moved on quite quickly to our next speaker. Let me stop sharing the mic and hand over to Nwabisa. Robbie, are you there?
Good morning. Can you hear me, Sipo?
Yes, I can hear you, and good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon. Sorry for that. I'm so glad to be here this morning and to talk about digital marketing, and good morning to everybody. So I'll just start off on, about digital marketing. A lot of people don't understand that there's an assumption that social media marketing is digital marketing. So actually, social media is just a type of digital marketing. So I will take us through the whole concept of digital marketing today, the types of digital marketing that's out there, and the importance of adopting or developing a digital marketing strategy before you embark on, on going online. That's if you're not already online. And if you're already online, I hope the presentation helps you sort of craft your strategy. So today the topics that I'll be looking at today are digital marketing, the types of digital marketing, the importance of a digital marketing strategy and what that entails, a digital marketing plan, and then I will take questions after that if there are any. So essentially, we ask ourselves, what comes to mind when we think digital marketing? So digital marketing, it's the umbrella term of all marketing efforts that use an electronic device or the internet. So businesses leverage different digital channels such as search engines, social media, email marketing, pay-per-click, and websites to connect to current and prospective customers. So in a nutshell, digital marketing is an umbrella term of marketing that takes place on the internet or on online channels. Why is it important to get into this digital space? Even before COVID, it's always been very important to be present online, because we live in times where most times when you tell people that you've got a business, they will sort of ask you, what's your website? Are you on social media? So digital marketing allows you to reach more customers better, faster, and sometimes a bit more cheaper than traditional media. And digital content and marketing is very common, as I said. So customers expect and rely on companies and brands to be online, and they use that as a benchmark to compare your services to other companies. And it's very important, to be competitive as a business owner, one has to embrace some aspects of digital marketing, because not all aspects or not all elements or types of digital marketing are relevant to all types of businesses. So digital marketing allows business owners so many options and strategies associated with it. So one can really get creative and experiment with a variety of marketing tactics on a certain budget. For example, Instagram might not work for certain businesses, but it might be better for another business. So it's very important to understand what type of business you're in, and therefore what type of strategy you need to adopt if you embark on going onto the digital marketing space. And it's estimated, there's different assumptions around that, but it is known that digital marketing is way quicker and way faster than traditional marketing. So we've got, as I said, there's different types of digital marketing. So one of the first types, there's many, but for the purposes of the presentation, I've looked at the common ones that are used by small businesses. One of the first types of digital marketing is what we call search engine optimization. So this means getting your website to be ranked in such a way that when someone is looking for your product, it can essentially come up, on top in terms of results and so on. So how we define it is, it's the process of optimizing your website to rank higher in search engine results pages, thereby increasing the amount of organic traffic your website receives. So sometimes you will see that if you type certain words, certain websites come up because they've optimized their websites. So that's one type of digital marketing. And then the other one that's quite common as well with small businesses, we call it content marketing. So with content marketing, essentially you create content for your users, your clients, for the purpose of generating. So you would create content to generate brand awareness, traffic growth, and lead generation, so that customers can also find you. So there's different options that you can look at in terms of creating content. You could write blog posts, depending on the industry that you're in. For example, Asanda will be talking to us later on. Asanda sells shea butter. So in her example, in terms of blogging, she could start writing about the benefits of shea butter and, what are the benefits of using that. And the other way, in addition to blogging, you can look at being a thought leader in your field, creating white papers, or content that helps people in your field know more about the type of field that you are in. For example, there's a gentleman that I worked with, and he decided that he's in the water industry. He's got a company in the water industry, so he decided to position himself as a thought leader from a content marketing perspective. So what he did is that he started writing articles on LinkedIn, relating to water, how to save water. And that really, really helped him with his LinkedIn sales. According to him, when he started writing articles and positioning himself as a thought leader in that particular industry, his sales increased threefold. That's from the LinkedIn side. And also, you can also, from a content marketing side, you can start creating things like infographics, giving people information, because people are always keen to learn more. And so if you are selling certain products, it's very important to create awareness and educate your clients. So content marketing is a strategy to do that. Another type of digital marketing channel is what we call pay-per-click. So with pay-per-click is a method that enables you to drive traffic to your website by picking a publisher every time your ad is clicked. So one of the most common types of pay-per-click adverts is Google ads. And there's different types. The channels that I'll quickly touch on now is paid ads on Facebook, where Facebook notifies people of your product, people that are in the similar industry, or people that are interested, your target market on your product. And you also have Twitter ad campaigns, where you can create Twitter campaigns and so on. And another form of pay-per-click channel is what I just mentioned, also sponsored messages on LinkedIn. In addition to writing and creating content, you could also post sponsored messages on LinkedIn. And then the other type that most people rather are familiar with is what we call social media. So with social media, as most of us know, it's a practice that promotes your brands and your content on social media to increase brand awareness, to drive traffic, and to generate leads to your businesses. So there's different types of social media platforms. So we'll discuss it when we come to talking about your digital marketing strategy, to see what type of social media channel works best for your type of industry. So there's different channels. We've got Facebook, there's Instagram, there's Twitter, there's LinkedIn, there's Snapchat, there's Pinterest. So it will all depend on the type of strategy that you're looking at, because what happens most of the times is that people, what I've seen in my experience, somebody will say, oh my God, I need to get onto social media. And you would ask the person, what's the strategy? What do you want to do on social media? Do you want to increase your brand awareness? Do you want to drive traffic? Do you want to generate leads? So it's very, very important to understand before choosing the type of platform that you want to advertise on. It's very important to understand the purpose. Why are you going onto social media, and what it is that you want to achieve? The other type of digital marketing channel is email marketing. So sometimes companies use email marketing as a way of communicating with their audiences. So sometimes email marketing is often used to promote content, to tell clients about discounts and events, and to also generate traffic lead, to send out emails to clients so that they can click and go to your website and learn more about your products, and thus generate traffic. And there's different types of emails that one can write out to clients if one chooses to go with email marketing as a form of digital marketing. So you can start, if you go the content marketing strategy as well, then you can start telling people about whatever you've written about in terms of your blog. You can do that through
It seems Nabi has frozen.
Is content marketing. You could start looking at giving clients tips on or similar series for customer nurturing, and again teaching them about your product. And with a strategy, why is it important to have a strategy? If you want to grow your business online, you must develop a digital marketing strategy. A lot of small businesses, as I said previously, just wake up and say, we're going on to social media marketing. We're adopting digital marketing, we're going online. But if you ask them, what's the strategy? What's the goal? A lot of people are unable to answer you. So essentially, what is a digital marketing strategy? A digital marketing strategy describes a series of actions that use online marketing channels to achieve various goals. So channels, as I indicated, can include paid, like your pay-per-click, and earned media from traffic generation and so on. So a digital marketing plan allows you to build and launch your marketing strategy with success. And it's very important that your digital marketing strategy is linked to your current marketing strategy. So if you've got a marketing strategy in place, then you link digital marketing to it, because digital marketing is not meant to replace traditional marketing. Digital marketing is there to support your traditional marketing activities as well. So essentially, how do we embark on a digital marketing strategy? A successful digital marketing strategy begins with setting goals. Ideally, as I said, your marketing goals should align with your business goals. So everything is interrelated. Social media marketing and digital marketing does not stand on its own. It's part of your business goals, part of your marketing goals. So that has to be clear at all times, that digital marketing is not in vacuum. It's part of the process. In terms of what does the digital marketing strategy do, it answers the questions like, how will our company achieve our objectives? And the strategy should be able to identify your customer segments. As you would with traditional marketing, you need to understand who are your clients, who is the target market. Similar happens when you move online, and what are the target actions and what type of online tools do your target client use. So that's very important. It also helps you identify who are your competitors, what are your competitors currently doing. So essentially, in a nutshell, that's what a digital marketing strategy includes. So once you've decided that you are adopting a digital marketing strategy, you then need to go and craft what we call a digital marketing plan. So a digital marketing plan covers several things. So it will look at, it will allow you to do a situational analysis, which will include your SWOT analysis, because before you go onto digital marketing, you need to know your capabilities. You need to know what are your strengths are, because I've seen it many a times where people embark on a digital marketing strategy, get to, for example, Facebook, carry out a Facebook ad, and for example, someone is used to selling 10 items a day. From the Facebook ad and whatever other channels they are on, they start paying for adverts. Next thing, they get 1,000 orders, but the value chain and the systems and processes that they have in place do not allow for them to take that amount of orders. So it's very, very important to conduct a thorough situational analysis and SWOT analysis regarding your company to see if you've got the capacity and the capabilities to deliver on the promises that you make. So it also looks, the marketing plan will also look at positioning among competitors, distribution channel planning, and also a promotional plan. So I'll try to quickly give you a generic background of some of the elements that are included in a digital marketing plan. So as I said, one of the first steps that one has to do is the situational analysis. And after that, a competitive analysis, looking at your competitors. And then after knowing who you are as a business and understanding what your competitors are, then you come to a decision on, okay, how are you going to position yourself online? And then you need to establish what are your digital marketing goals, what do you want to achieve, and your buyer personas. Your buyer personas are the type of people that are buying from you. How do they engage with you online? And we'll go to website design and the importance of that in relation to search engine optimization. So with a situational analysis as one of the first steps in crafting your marketing plan, with the situational analysis, essentially you need to analyze where your company stands at the current moment. You need to evaluate the opportunities that are available to your company, because sometimes you've got a company, you've got a marketing plan, but sometimes you've got access to more opportunities if you go online. So you need to analyze what type of opportunities those might be and what type of problems the company might face. Delivery channels, do you have the right infrastructure and the right systems in place to deliver what you promise? Because as I said, it has happened many a times where people go onto digital or social media and their sales exceed expectations, and then the next thing they end up not being able to deliver. And as I always say, social media can build your business overnight, and it can also collapse your business overnight. So one needs to be ready and be very sure of their processes before they embark on a digital marketing strategy, and conduct a thorough SWOT analysis looking at your company's strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and the type of threats that are available to your business. And this will then help you position your company among other competitors. And then after we've done a situational analysis about your company and understanding the strengths and weaknesses, then we go to a competitive analysis. With a competitive analysis now, you look at analyzing your competitors and looking at their strategies and what type of goals they are set, what type of digital marketing goals they are setting for themselves. You look at social media benchmarking, where you start searching up about your competitors and looking at their strategy, and most importantly, looking at the type of content that your competitors post. So when you're doing your competitor analysis, these are the type of questions that you can ask yourselves. Who are your competitors and what do they sell? And you can start looking at what are their current and past strategies. What have they done in the past and what are they currently doing from a social media advertising perspective and overall digital marketing? What are they doing when it comes to email marketing? What type of content? What type of pay-per-click channels are they on? And if possible, you can look at what is working for your competitors and what do you think might not be working, and the type of channels they posting on and the type of content they're posting as well, and how often do they post. Because sometimes what happens that a lot of people get onto social media and they don't have a type of calendar, a posting calendar to say this is how often we post. So it's very, very important that when you adopt a social media strategy or digital marketing strategy, you need to have a content planner so that there's consistency in your posting. So you don't post today and then disappear for 3 months and come back later. So it's very important to have consistency in the form of a content plan. So once you've done your competitor analysis, then it's very important then to where you go to positioning. So you've looked at the situational analysis, who you are, where you're at, your capabilities, your weaknesses. You've looked at what your competitors have to offer, their capabilities and their weaknesses as well. Then we come back to positioning. With positioning, it answers the question, how will my company then differentiate itself from other competitors that are currently online? And this is where now I start talking about the value proposition. What is your value proposition for company A? And what makes you different from your competitors, and how will you make sure that that comes across with your social media engagement and the other channels that you'll be using for digital marketing. So to define a company's market position, one must examine 3 variables. So you must look at your customers. What type of customers do you have? What do your customers want? The type of competitors that you have, and what are your competitors currently offering the target market, and how can you do things differently? And then this goes back to traditional marketing and traditional branding. So they're all interconnected. So whatever you are doing, offline, how do you carry it and make sure that customers can engage with that online as well? And once we've positioned, so we've done our situational analysis, we've looked at our competitors, and we found the middle ground where, okay, this is how we're positioning ourselves, and this is how we're going to be different when we get online. Or rather, this is how we're going to enhance what we're already doing offline. This is how we're going to enhance it online. That's when you now start establishing your digital marketing goals. So once you have your place in the market and you know what your strong points are, then you work on establishing some goals to have a clear idea of what actions you should take. So everything you plan has to meet those goals. And then that's where you'll start from the research that you've done, from your situational analysis, competitive analysis. You will then have a better understanding in terms of your target market. Do they spend more time on Facebook? Do they spend more time on Instagram? Is your target market more inclined to be on LinkedIn, or are they more inclined to be on Twitter? So once you've gotten all those answers, then it becomes easier to plan a strategy that can speak to customers on the type of channels that your customers are at. Because sometimes the small businesses who just wake up and say, oh, Facebook ads, somebody says Facebook ads work, and you could find that your target market is not necessarily that active on Facebook, but more active on Instagram. So it's very, very important to do all this, all this research, and then come to a point where you now understand your customer base, the digital marketing activities, and then now you can plan accordingly and establish your goals accordingly. And once you've identified your digital marketing goals, then before you create your campaigns, we talk about buyer personas. So you'll need to create your buyer personas. This will guide you in terms of content strategy and what type of content to create, because content creation is extremely important when it comes to digital marketing strategy. A lot of small businesses struggle with, because before you post, you need to post something. So that means that essentially you need content. So what a lot of small businesses struggle with is content creation, sometimes because of financial resources or time resources, because when you're running a small business, sometimes you carry so many hats or you do so many things that it's not always feasible to create content and post it timelessly. So that's why it's very important to plan, to say, okay, e.g., I'm going to post on Facebook, I'm going to post once a week, and this is what I'm going to post. So that helps you pre-plan in advance, where you just don't end up posting haphazardly as and when you feel like you should. And once you've done that, all of that, because everything, when you start social media, okay, there's other industries, especially I see it with design industries, like graphic design, photographers. Some of them don't always feel the need to have a website, and they will be mostly on Instagram. But most businesses need a website. They need a platform, because all your social media activities lead back to traffic to your website. So website design is very important. Your website needs to be user-friendly, and your website needs to be adaptable to, to different devices. It should be mobile friendly. It should be, the user experience. It should be easy to navigate one's website. So it's very, very important that you get that right, and to understand how your website works, and in terms of search engine optimization, and how your website has been optimized. So essentially, in a nutshell, that covers digital marketing and digital marketing planning and a digital marketing strategy and how to adopt one. And as I always say, it's a very, very important to define your goals. Even if you decide to outsource your digital marketing to an agency, it's very important as a business owner to understand why you are going on to digital marketing and what do you want to achieve and what are your goals before embarking on adopting digital marketing. So in a nutshell, that was digital marketing and the strategy and how to adopt one. And there are a few free resources that are available that I'm able to share, and I'll speak to Sipho. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Nwabi. Thank you so much for that. Trish, if you can just come back on, and everybody else, and I think just for the interest of time, we'll definitely be responding to questions. And perhaps before that, can we invite Asanda just to share with us her experience? Because I think it's quite relevant. It might also be able to answer some of the questions that our participants have. So Asanda. I hope she's there. Oh, it's just coming on.
There are a few interesting questions, but we'll ask you afterwards, Robbie, if that's okay. So hang on, everybody, till we get there to answer your question.
Sorry, Trish, I missed you. What did you say?
There's a few interesting questions. If we may ask afterwards, I just want people to know that we will be answering questions afterwards. Is that okay? There's some really interesting ones I'm sure you can help with. Thank you.
Great. Perfect. Thank you so much, Nabi, for that. So yes, Asanda, let's hear from you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Siphokazi Kwakweni. I am the owner and the founder of a brand called Comfort Zone Naturals. And I'm going to share with you my reflection on my journey. Comfort Zone has been around for 18 months, and it is an online business that I started from the ground. And over the past year, it has grown to levels that I personally could not have imagined back then. But I attribute my success to a couple of things that have happened over time. And it all started with me doing, New Year's resolution. And then year after year, you are doing the same New Year's resolution. The year happens and none of those get implemented. And then you come to the following year, you start afresh with the same thing you've been starting for the past 3 years. So I asked myself, what is it that I'm going to do differently this time? And I asked myself, why have I not been able to achieve what I set out to achieve? And I started listening
I
to
see you watching what I'm watching.
I just want to mute everybody.
Sasha, if you
Sasha.
can.
I haven't read the book.
Okay. So I started listening to people that talk about what to do if you want to be successful. And the first thing I changed is I stopped watching TV. And I became intentional about the information I was going to consume. And that meant I canceled my DSTV subscription and started spending a lot of time on YouTube. And that resulted in me meeting people, not necessarily meeting them, but being exposed to people with the same kind of thinking, looking for something. And then I remembered that I wanted to start an online business. I did not know what I was going to sell. I have started a number of things. Some would do well and then they dwindle. And as part of my reflection, then I realized I never felt like the ones that did not succeed were failures, but instead, it was like, it's time to move on to the next thing. So I stopped watching TV. From watching TV, I started to learn what steps to take to be successful. And one of the things I learned is change your food and you will see a trickling effect on your life. Then I stopped getting tired. Then I was able to think more in line with what I was seeking, and things would start falling on my lap. And maybe to speed up things, then in 2018, this was 2017, I had started using natural products, and I would go around Cape Town buying these natural products for myself to use. And I would share them with my community in social media, my friends, my family. And then I had a friend who said, why don't you start your own brand? Because you seem to be very passionate about this. And I was like, now I'm happy to promote whatever I'm using. And she kept nagging me every week. She said, I am not going to stop up until you start your own brand. So eventually I had no choice but to start the business. And that was December 2017. 2018, I started selling, and at the time it was not even branded. I was surprised, everything sold out. And I went again, I restocked. And by the second round, then I had already developed my own brand, and it went out there. And what I can attribute to things slowly moving was the little things I was changing. I became intentional about meditation. Everybody that I was listening to would be, if you want to be successful, meditate. And it was one of the most difficult things. It took me a whole year of attending meditation classes for me to be able to tune into it, up until I was able to do it on my own. And the more I meditated, the more I spent time with myself, the more clarity I got, and the more my business grew. And this was different from the time when I was simply trying to get into business, chasing the money, and listening to people say, if you want to achieve something, you need to be still. If you want to achieve something, you need to focus. Up until you start practicing it, it feels like a frivolous thing to imagine. But every time I have embarked on something, it would just grow. And most of the things that would happen, I normally spend weekends with my sister, Siphokazi. And what we changed, I remember one December, we said, we are going to stop being consumers in December. We are going to be providing something meaningful to the world. And throughout the year, we were talking about this thing. And then the one year we were like, oh my word, it's finally coming to fruition. And sometimes people would ask me, where did you learn all of this? I would always respond, I simply changed the information I would consume, and everything I would look for would just come to my lap. And other than self-teaching myself, I don't think I would have been able to get as far as I have. I would have been able to articulate the kind of goals I set for myself. And I also learned to set goals that are believable to me. And I mean, I remember when it started, I was like, if I could make 10,000 rands a month, initially I would be looking, I want 1 million rands in my account, but it would not even be believable in my own head. Then I'm like, okay, let me reduce it to something I can believe. I said, what do I need? I need 10,000 rands every month. And I started working towards that 10,000K. And then I'm like, okay, time you redefine, because once you reach a goal, then you need to set a new one. I'm like, okay, maybe we can take 10,000 rands a month to 10,000 rands a week. And effortlessly, you continue with your practice, you continue reading books like Think and Grow Rich, and eventually things just come your way. It moved from 10,000 rands a month to 10,000 rands a day, a week. I'm like, okay, we've reached this goal. What next? I'm like, what about 10,000 rands a week, a day? And I'm like, okay. And before that, I had attended a 10-day silent retreat, which had been on my plans for like 3 years, but I would be like, where am I going to find 10 days? I work full time. I have kids at home. But on the day, September 2019, the course opened. I'm like, I'm booking. I don't care if I take unpaid leave. I will find a plan with my kids, but this is the one thing I'm going to do for myself. So I go on the silent retreat. The scariest thing, you literally keep quiet for 9 full days. You don't talk to anyone. You don't have a cell phone. You have no car keys. You have no connection with the world. So, and all you do is meditate for 10 hours a day throughout the day, from 4:30 in the morning till 9:30 in the night, with breaks in between. And in the beginning, you're like, oh, I can't wait for this to be over. When it's over, I am going to talk so much. By day 3, you are ready to go home, but you're like, given the suffering that has happened and the benefits that everybody who's done this has shared, okay, let me just wait. If in 2 days I still feel the same way, then I'll go. By the 4th and 5th day, everything is settled in. You are starting to enjoy this. And then on the 7th day, you are ready to go home again. Like it's just a struggle. Okay, do I see this to finish or do I just give up now? And you're like, okay, if I do the 10 days, then I can come back here for 3-day and 1-day courses. I'm like, okay, I don't want to have to do the 10 days again. Let me just do it and finish everything. Day 8 happened. Day 9, at the end of day 9, then we can break the silence. So when we broke the silence, we're like, oh, tomorrow is the last day. I can't wait to leave this place. Day 10 comes, we get our phones, we get our keys, and now they literally have to get rid of us because nobody wants to leave. And I switch on my phone, and to my surprise, my business had reached the next milestone that I had set for myself without me being present in it. I had left things in place, but when I came out, the strategies that I had been trying to put in place for the past 3 months had simply happened in the 10 days when I was just silent. And after that, it has just been a total roller coaster of beautiful emotions, things in alignment. And as a result, my advice to anyone wanting to do business, you need to take time for stillness so that you can have clarity. And if it is in line with who you are, it will most certainly happen the way you want it to happen. And it so happened COVID was, if you are in the online business, then you were ready. As a result, when COVID happened, I just watched the business grow, and all it's doing now, it is just growing. And I literally have to slow it down, as Robbie said, that if you implement something online, you need to make sure that your groundwork is ready for it. Because I have my distributor telling me, I am ready to put you on the next level. And I have to say to them, no, I'm not ready. I'm not, because if I do that, I'm going to run out. And they keep trying to push, and I say, no, I am happy with this level of growth. I am preparing for it, but I won't do A, B, C, D, because as Robbie says, what you do can either grow your business or it can bring it down. So I'm looking forward to having many conversations with Nabi, because most of the things I know, I have taught myself through listening to YouTube, believe it or not. There is so much information there. I've spent time thinking I need a mentor, but I don't know anyone who's done this before. You know what? There are people who speak freely about the journeys they've gone through. There are people who speak freely about what to do, what not to do. And so now when I'm getting ready in the morning, I listen to YouTube. When I have nothing to do, I listen to YouTube. When I'm preparing, when I'm working in my production, I listen to all these things. I listen to audiobooks. And if I'd known this information like 20 years ago, which is that's how long I have been on and off the entrepreneurship journey, probably would have gotten far quite early. And so if it feels good, go for it. Take time and be silent on it. And I promise you, it will happen.
Thank you so much, Asanda. Thank you for sharing your beautiful journey with our participants. And this is really why we've created this platform, is to really share the concepts of innovation and resilience. And mindfulness meditation is really becoming very, very important, where we find ourselves in stillness so that we can actually take inspired action. Trish, let's get into the questions. I don't want to delay any time. We are at 1 o'clock, just to really respond to our audience.
Perfect. Thank you, Asanda. Thanks, Robbie. You both, wow, very inspiring ladies. I've learned a lot today. But I have given a lot of thought to businesses that literally don't seem to be able to go online, that are stuck in brick and mortar. So we have one person in construction that's asked what they can do with this presentation to, use it for their businesses. And somebody else on a similar note has said, I'm in the affordable housing development business with projects in South Africa and Kenya. Just brief pointers on how one could apply digital platforms to reach out to, say, the African diaspora markets. So if you could answer that for us, will give us some guidelines into real brick and mortar companies. What do they do, Robbie?
Hi, thank you for the questions. I saw with the metering company, so one of the case studies that I mentioned about a gentleman in the water business, it was actually also a water metering company. And so it's very important before you go online, you need to understand, as your current marketing strategy, are you business to consumer or are you business to business? So with the water metering guy, in his instance, I think they would sell to municipalities, if I'm not mistaken, and developers. They didn't sell directly to the end user. So they went online, but their strategy of going online, it was more on an educating consumers about their products. So that's a strategy that you could look into. But before you go online, one of the most important questions you should ask yourself, because there's this thing that everybody's online, everybody needs to go online. So you need to ask yourself the question, why do you want to go online? And once you've identified that, then it's easier to look at the type of strategy that you could go into. So that's what I would advise, especially for brick and mortar stores. Why do you want to go online, and who are you selling to? Are you selling to consumers? Because if you're selling to end consumers, it's different. If you're in construction and, for example, are you doing renovations where a person like me and Trish could just go online and say, we're looking for a renovations company? Or are you more looking at developers to, more, long-term contracts with developers? So it all boils down to your marketing strategy and the reasons for being online. And that's how you can start looking at going online. But it's very, very important to have a strategy.
There seems to be quite a clear distinction here between businesses that can go online and reinvent themselves, which is what we're doing, and businesses can't go online, that they need to use online. So they must focus on online for marketing, mustn't they? They mustn't, if you literally cannot run your business online, then the focus should be more marketing, whereas we are more establishing new online businesses. Isn't there a big difference?
Yes, it's more marketing, brand awareness, brand positioning, and differentiating yourself as, call it industry leader in your field. So it's more about, you've got your brick and mortar clients who know you, who can come because of the type of service you offer. Sometimes you're not able to show products. So it's very important then when you go online, you also try to position yourself as a leader that's more educational, so that you can start gaining from the trust perspective. Because there's also a lot, as much as everybody's going online, there's still a lot of consumers who are scared to use companies online because a few people have also been scammed. So it's very important to build yourself as a reputable brand online as well, if you decide to go for that strategy.
And then a completely different question, but very relevant. I also battle with this. Is there a one-stop shop that people can do social media marketing off? Because it's extremely time-consuming if somebody, a small business owner or any business owner for that matter, is trying to market on different platforms. I know there are platforms where you can go onto. What would you suggest?
So there's different ones because, you know, as I said, content creation for small businesses, it's a lot. And we don't always have the time for it. So there's different resources. For example, I'll share a few like HubSpot and whatever, where you can, what you kind of plan your content and say at a certain time, a certain day, you're going to post this. So it's really, so it's very important to get so there's two options. You can either do it in-house if you don't have the resources, or you can outsource an agency. But in outsourcing an agency, it's also very important to understand what you want to achieve from that, because there's been many a times where I've worked with smaller businesses, but they can't ask their agencies the right questions because they don't know what type of returns they're looking for, because they don't know what type of goals they want. So if you decide to go the agency route, you must also sort of understand how to measure KPIs in that regard, and to see how your brand is doing online. So there's several resources, and I will create, I'll create a template and I'll send it to Sipho with the different links of free resources that you can use as well.
Amazing. That'll be a great help, I think, to a lot of business owners. Has anybody else got any questions they'd like to type into the Q&A box that we can answer?
Did you see the one, Trish, on the affordable housing development business?
Yes, that's an interesting one, and they're in Africa. So yes, how would they get their business established online throughout Africa or in Kenya?
Could you please repeat that for me? I missed that question. I'm struggling to find it.
Do you want to read it, Sipho?
Yes, I can. So I am in the affordable housing development business with projects in South Africa and Kenya. Just brief pointers, how one could apply digital platforms to reach out, say, to the African diaspora market.
And in terms of reaching out to the African diaspora market, do they want to, sort of promote the same service, sell the same product, or what it is that they're looking into doing? Because that's very important. And to be very specific in terms of when you say Africa diaspora market, which countries, so it can't just be a blanket approach, because you'll need to also find the local, local partners or local agencies in terms of, because also advertising on classifieds online is also very important. So find out the industry bodies, that side, and linkages. So it's very important. It goes back to marketing and your marketing strategy. So it's very important to determine what specific countries are you looking at. Are you going to have a strategy for each country? Or are you going to go into different countries and, for example, have a holding website? And within that website, you'll say, maybe call it Africa Construction Zimbabwe, Africa Construction Lesotho, Botswana. So it's very important to specify and determine which type of countries that they are looking into.
Okay. And then there's another one, Robbie, that says, as a lifestyle photographer, most of my work and marketing is online, but I am never in one place for long. We travel a lot. How can I market myself then to reach more in the areas where I will be and are for the time being?
So essentially the person travels from different countries, different places. So the other thing that you can look into, especially from his angle, I know with a lot of businesses, entrepreneurs that I work with in the photography and design space, a lot of them are on Instagram. And what I've seen a lot of them do is starting to find out about, you know, other partners in other countries and start commenting and start engaging in that type of ways. And also you could start being great with content marketing, you know, talking about, I don't understand the type of photography that they're doing, but let's say they're doing destination photography, tourism photography, they can start looking at creating blogs on the type of pictures that they are taking, and then that's creating content online. Because once you create more content online, then it's easier for people. Let's say he's taking pictures in Zanzibar, and maybe once he's done with every project, look at creating a blog speaking about the experience and the photography of that. And then when people search Zanzibar, it could happen that his name does come up as, you know, it goes back to that content creation and positioning yourself as a thought leader.
Okay. And then Robbie, there's another one here. And I mean, just to summarize it, you know, with social media, I know even with myself, you know, there's always a fear, or even digital marketing, of bad publicity.
Yes.
So what have you got to say about that?
So that's why I always say, so when I was doing, so my master's thesis was on the benefits of social media for small businesses. So I had to spend almost 2 to 3 years speaking to different businesses. And I'll give you an example. A lot of small businesses are terrified of Twitter. They are scared to advertise and market on Twitter. And because they are like, you know, a tweet goes viral, you could end up losing, you know, you could, with social media, but especially Twitter, you could be an overnight success, and your business could also be destroyed in the same breath. So it's very important to have a strategy and to also engage, because not all of us are perfect. Mistakes do happen in business, and it's very important. Once you've got a strategy, you'll understand why you're online and how to speak, you know, because for example, somebody can say, Sipo bakes cakes. I ordered a cake from Sipo. But one person can say, I ordered a cake from Sipo, it was fantastic, and the tweet goes viral. And somebody can say, I ordered a cake from Sipo, and it was a mess. So that's why it's very important, before you embark on a digital marketing strategy, to make sure that you've got resources in place, so that if somebody says, I did not like Sipo's cake, there's somebody, or it's either you or somebody in your team who can respond immediately to such queries to say, we are sorry, there was a mistake, we'll quickly rectify it. Because, I mean, big brands get into trouble all the time as well. So before you go into social media, and I always urge small businesses, make sure you've got a plan, and make sure you've got the resources because social media is not only about posting, it's also about engagement. You know, when customers, there's instances where people say, oh, but I asked Sipo a question 2 weeks ago on Twitter or Facebook, they never responded. So make sure that you've got the systems and processes in place rather late than rush to social media without having systems and resources in place. So it's very important to look at that, because it will happen. Not everybody's going to be happy with you. It happens with brick and mortar all the time, but luckily it's a limited space. It won't go viral. So with social media, you need to prepare yourself for that, and you need to make sure you've got the right team on board for that.
Thank you, Nobi.
Right.
Thank
you. Are you going to bring the cake next week? We'll tell you how to do it.
We are definitely over time, and we don't want to keep everyone. And I think just to summarize everything, obviously having a plan and a strategy. that is linked to your business activities. And I think part of the strategy also outlines some of the actions that need to be taken before you implement your strategy. So where Robbie has mentioned situational analysis, you know, you need to understand the environment that you're going to be operating in. And this is really what the strategy is all about, so that you are able to respond to some of the questions that we've also received here. So without any further ado, I don't want us to take up too much time. We will be back here again next week, same time, same place, for our hour of mindfulness, innovation, and resilience. And next week, we're going to be focusing on, I must just remember, unlearning for relearning. So that is our theme for next week. And I think it is quite clear that there's a lot of things that we need to unlearn so that we are able to navigate and survive this pandemic. And there's a lot of things that we need to relearn. And that's also why my organization is called the Lifelong Learning Academy, because it is all about lifelong learning. The world is always changing, and I think it's even changing even faster in these days. And I think it's very important that we self-educate ourselves. And we live in a world now where technology brings us information. You know, I don't think any one of us can say we are deprived of education. We are able to actually self-teach or self-taught ourselves to be able to navigate. And this is really what we're aiming to do with these platforms. Any last words from you, Trish and Asanda, Nwami?
No, thank you. Thank you, ladies, for a lovely meeting, lovely webinar. Have a great week. And yes, anything else, anybody?
Any last words? In fact, to participants, please do type in any ideas, any suggestions, anything that you want to hear more of. Sorry, Asanda, you can continue.
In fact, to add what you were saying, I always post myself inspirational things on my WhatsApp status. And what I posted today was the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn and unlearn and relearn.
Wow. Wow.
That's true.
That is very true. And I think one of the messages around mindfulness is to keep an open mind.
Yeah.
No, I mean, last words from your side?
Thank you for the platform, and I just want to thank everybody that joined us today. And I can't overemphasize, please look at having a strategy and knowing the reasons why you're going online before you go online. Digital will always be there. There's no need to rush it. Yes, we need to be there, but please do it in a calculated way.
Thank you, Nwami. Trish, any last words on your side?
No, what I see some people are asking, can we interact more often with our businesses? And I don't know if anybody is aware of our Facebook group, but I'm going to quickly get the link now. As Sipho, you can carry on, because our Facebook group is set up for anybody to comment, inspire, and uplift and answer questions with. So I'm going to share it now. Do you want to just carry on, Sipho?
Yes, definitely. And I see Jamilia there is also asking if we can share business ideas. Absolutely. I mean, this is really a platform of sharing. And one of the things that we have really been emphasizing is the whole notion of collaboration. I think it is very important now that, you know, wherever there's opportunities for businesses and for people to collaborate, to actually do so. And I think I always say when there's more than one mind, so, you know, that the thinking becomes even better. So yes, please, definitely. How to start a business and what kind of business one can start. Definitely, that's one idea, especially during these challenging times.
Yes, lovely idea. We must definitely bring that into a topic. I love that. So the Facebook group link is here. Please all join us on the Facebook group. You know, although it's inspiring stories, it's inspiring. It's actually just keeping our heads above water and being positive at the moment. It doesn't mean that we have hugely successful businesses, because anyone that still has a business is actually inspiring. There's so many people that have lost theirs. So please share, ask each other questions. We are on the group. We can share with you. And the more feedback we get, the more relevant we can make our topics to everybody. So thank you, ladies. That was awesome. Thank you to all the attendees. Lovely to see all the familiar names on again. and have a good week. We'll see you this time next week.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Asanda. Thank you, Noemi. Thank you, Trish. And thank you very much to our participants. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Great, Trish.
Yes. So, Sipo, you have a good day.
You too, Trish, and we'll chat. Take care.
Yes.
The weather is crazy out there today in Cape Town.
Very cold. If anyone's in the Cape, keep warm. And everybody's healthy.
Yes. Thank you so much, Nolo, for attending and participating. Hope to see you next week. We've got 3 more of these coming up, and we're very excited to really continue to inspire each other, to learn from each other.
Yeah, so we do need, the more ideas, we've got great ideas, but the more you can share, the better.
No, definitely, especially innovative business ideas during this time and online. I mean, I think for me, it's one thing that's for sure with the right connectivity and access. Obviously, there's endless possibilities. There's absolutely endless possibilities. And I mean, I think as we're preparing for this session, I think it was Asanda who was sharing how that bikini, a place called Granadilla, where they were selling bikinis. When COVID-19 happened, they just simply switched and they're selling organic food and organic vegetables. So it is really about agility and the ability to just pivot. I think that is a very popular word nowadays, over and above the new normal. It is about pivoting. Yes, definitely.
So I think, and with sharing, I think it also helps so much, because when people are isolated, it's very, you actually freeze. You do become isolated because you freeze in fear. So sharing is caring, as I always told my children. And yeah, it's lovely to see you. We're going to sign off now.
Learning
and your documentation will be, we'll send everything, you'll have everything tomorrow. So let's all make our businesses succeed. Cheers. Bye.
Bye, Trish. Bye, everyone. Thank you.